I used to think memory loss was just part of getting older. You know, misplacing keys, forgetting a name, walking into a room and not remembering why you went in there. My wife Margaret used to laugh about it. She would say, "Well, I guess we're earning our senior discounts." But what started happening wasn't the kind of forgetting you laugh about. One afternoon, she looked at me and said, "Have you seen my husband?" I was standing right in front of her. That's when I knew this wasn't just aging. There's a difference between getting older and losing pieces of the mind, and I didn't understand that difference at first. I thought dementia meant someone just gets forgetful. I was wrong. Normal aging means you might forget where you left the keys, but you remember later. Dementia interferes with daily life. It changes how someone reasons, how they judge situations, how they speak, how they understand time. Margaret didn't just misplace things, she began the kettle in the pantry. She got confused about what day it was. She struggled to follow a recipe she'd been making for 40 years. That's when I learned that dementia isn't a single disease. It's a term used to describe symptoms that affect memory, thinking, and everyday function. In her case, it was Alzheimer's disease. I learned that inside the brain, certain abnormal proteins build up. They interfere with communication between nerve cells. Over time, those cells lose function, and slowly, parts of the brain begin to shrink. It doesn't happen overnight. That was the hardest thing to accept. Dementia develops gradually. There were signs I missed. She had trouble planning things. Balancing the checkbook became overwhelming. She repeated questions without realizing it. I told myself it was stress. I told myself it was normal. But when memory loss begins to affect daily life, it's time to pay attention. I wish someone had told me that earlier, because early evaluation matters. There are conditions that look like dementia, but aren't. Medication side effects, vitamin deficiencies, thyroid problems, depression. Those can be treated. That's why ignoring symptoms doesn't help anyone. One thing I've learned is this: age increases risk, but it doesn't guarantee dementia. There are people in their 90s with sharp minds. There are people in their 60s facing cognitive decline. Risk is not destiny, and there are things that matter. What's good for the heart is good for the brain. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol. Those tiny blood vessels feed the brain. If they're damaged, the brain suffers. I made sure to get my own numbers under control, not because I'm afraid, but because I've seen what's at stake. Exercise matters too. Margaret and I used to walk every evening. I still walk. Movement increases blood flow to the brain. It supports connections between nerve cells. It doesn't cure dementia, but it supports brain health. And at our age, supporting what we have is powerful. Mental engagement matters. Margaret loved crossword puzzles. She read constantly. I still challenge my mind. Learning keeps the brain active. It strengthens pathways. It's like keeping roads clear instead of letting them grow over. Social connection matters more than people realize. Isolation steals more than joy. It steals stimulation. Conversation challenges memory. Laughter reduces stress. Loneliness increases cognitive decline. That's not philosophy. That's research. Sleep matters too. Deep sleep helps the brain clear waste products. Poor sleep stresses the brain over time. I used to think sleep was optional. It's not. Now, let me tell you something important. Dementia doesn't erase the person overnight. Margaret is still Margaret. Some days she remembers me clearly. Other days she calls me by her brother's name. But she still smiles when I hold her hand. She still hums the songs we danced to 50 years ago. Memory changes. Love doesn't. And that's something no disease has taken from us. If you're watching this and you're noticing changes in yourself or someone you love, don't ignore it. Don't panic either. Speak to a doctor. Get evaluated. Clarity is better than guessing. Planning is better than pretending. And small actions today can protect tomorrow. Take care of your heart, move your body, engage your mind, stay connected, protect your sleep. You cannot control everything, but you are not powerless. Growing older is not the same thing as losing yourself. Dementia is a medical condition. Aging is a privilege. And the more we understand the difference, the better prepared we are. If this story feels familiar to you, I want you to do one simple thing this week. Choose one action that supports your brain. Just one. Take a walk. Schedule that appointment. Call a friend. Check your blood pressure. Protect your sleep. Small choices repeated over years build strength. And if you're caring for someone with dementia, you're not alone. This road is difficult, but knowledge gives you steadiness, and steadiness gives you courage. I've learned that the mind may change, but dignity remains, and love remains. And those are worth fighting for. Tell me in the comments, what step are you taking this week to protect your brain or support someone you love? Because awareness is the beginning, and action is hope.